Hey there, I'm David. It's an ordinary evening. The faint hum of the dishwasher and the distant rattle of cars down the street drift in through the open window. Sophie leans against the kitchen counter, a glass of wine in hand. I can see the way her fingers tap the side of it, a nervous rhythm I've never noticed before. She's been quiet since dinner. Not bad quiet. Just off. I don't know how long she's been holding it in, but I can feel the weight of whatever she's about to say. She looks up at me, eyes avoiding mine for a split second before meeting them. It's like she's looking for a way to say it without saying it. David, she starts, voice soft but steady. I think we need to try something new. My pulse jumps in my throat. I don't know what I was expecting, but this isn't it. What do you mean by new? The words slip out before I can stop them, too quick, too raw. Her lips press together, almost like she's bracing for impact. Sophie lets out a breath. I've been thinking about Richard. Richard? The name lands like a stone. Richard's a senior colleague, one she's worked with for years. They've always had a professional relationship, strictly professional, she'd always said. So, what the hell is she about to say? David, she continues, her voice trembling now, just a little. I don't know how to say this, but I think I need to explore something with him. It's not what you think, though. Her eyes widen, pleading with me, like there's some twist she can offer to make it make sense. I stare at her. The words barely compute. I blink. You're what? You and Richard? You've been, what? Together? Her face flushes. She's avoiding my eyes again. No, not like that. But... My mind races. I can't quite wrap it around the image. Sophie, my wife, the woman I've trusted for 5 years, is talking about another man. No, not just another man. Richard. I don't know why I'm saying this, but... She steps closer, searching for my gaze. I want us to work through this. Together. This isn't about you not being enough, David. It's just... Her words stumble over each other. It's just that I feel like... I need this. I don't want to lose what we have, but I need more. More. The word lingers between us like a cloud, thick and suffocating. My breath catches. What do you mean, Sophie? How does this even make sense? She lowers her eyes to the floor, her fingers curling around her glass tighter, knuckles whitening. I can't make sense of it, but I know she's serious. I know she's trying to make it sound like some sort of evolution, like it's just a step in a bigger plan. A relationship enhancement. The silence grows. I can feel my heartbeat in my throat, my pulse pounding in my head. The ground beneath me feels unstable, like I've just stepped off the edge and I'm waiting for the fall. I think about everything we've been through, how we've built our life together. The quiet dinners, the weekends we spent wrapped up in each other, the plans we made. There's no hint in any of that of what she's saying now. It doesn't line up. But then again, maybe it never really did. The tension's been there, in the air, underneath everything. The little moments we used to laugh off, the subtle distance that crept in. But this feels like something different. I respect you, Sophie, I say slowly. But I don't think I can respect this. I need to think. The words feel wrong in my mouth, but it's all I can manage. The night drags on long after Sophie goes to bed. I stay awake, the air thick with questions, the weight of her words pressing on my chest. Hours pass, but it feels like minutes. By the time the clock hits 3 a.m., my mind's no closer to making sense of what she said. But one thing's clear, I can't let it go. Not yet. I need answers, and I need them now. I slip out of bed, trying not to wake her, the floor cold under my feet. The dim light from the hallway casts shadows on the walls, making everything feel distant, unreal. Sophie's phone sits on the nightstand, screen still lit from when she put it down earlier. My heart races. Part of me tells me I'm crossing a line. The other part, the part that's had the rug pulled out from under him, doesn't care. I grab the phone and sit on the edge of the bed, the silence pressing in like a physical weight. Her messages. I open the chat with Richard. At first, it's normal, work stuff, the kind of thing you'd expect. But then the tone shifts. Subtle at first. Compliments, jokes, something more personal, more familiar. I scroll down, each message feeling like a punch to my gut. And then I find it. A string of texts over the past month, hidden beneath layers of friendly conversation. It's not just a fling. It's deeper than that. Words I never thought I'd read. Sophie talks about the exciting risks and reasons to keep it secret. Her words dance around the truth like they're afraid to say it outright, but I know. I can see it now. She talks about how Richard's attention makes her feel alive. How she's thrilled by the danger of it all. My stomach turns. I scroll further, and it hits me. This isn't just about her needing something more. This is manipulation. Richard's messages aren't much better. They read like someone who knows exactly what he's doing, inching her toward a point where she can't back out. Where she's already in too deep to walk away without losing something important. And then I see it, the plan. It's not just about them. It's about me. There's a specific scenario he wants to orchestrate, one where Sophie humiliates me, reveals everything in front of our friends, in front of the people I trust. It's a slow burn, a setup for a public spectacle. The words confession and apology hang on the screen, as if he's plotting how to break me. I shut the phone off, the screen going black like it's hiding something too painful to see. My hands shake. This isn't just betrayal. It's an attack, a violation of trust one thought was unshakable. The pieces fall into place, but the picture they form doesn't make any sense. I stare at the phone in my hand, trying to make sense of what I'm holding. The evidence is there. It's clear. But what now? What do I do with this? The urge to confront Sophie burns through me, but something holds me back. It feels too raw, too immediate. No, this isn't a conversation for right now. It's a moment that needs time, needs to be handled with precision. I'm not going to give her the chance to explain away the evidence or twist the narrative. This is bigger than us. Bigger than whatever we've built together. I stand up and walk to the desk, opening the drawer and pulling out a file I keep for things like this. I've always been cautious. Always thought ahead. Now it's my turn to use that to my advantage. I start documenting everything, dates, times, screenshots, anything I can gather that will back up the reality of what's happening. The truth isn't enough. I need proof. The next step feels automatic. I can't think of a better way to process this than to take action. I don't have all the answers yet, but I know one thing for sure. This can't stay between Sophie and me. I open my email and start drafting a message to Anna, Richard's wife. I don't know if she knows what's going on. But I need to give her the choice. She deserves to know. And if she does, maybe she'll help me figure out how to handle this. Maybe she'll give me the strength to confront Richard, to end this twisted game he's playing. I hit send. It's the first step in what's going to be a long, painful journey. But it's the only way forward. Hours pass after I send the email to Anna. The night stretches, my mind bouncing between the anger, the pain, and the uncertainty of what to do next. Sleep doesn't come, not with all the things left to figure out. By morning, I've made the decision to meet with Anna in person. The weight of this whole mess demands it. Sophie still hasn't woken up, but I can't wait anymore. I have to do something. So I slip out, leaving the house before the air can get thick with her presence, before I start second-guessing myself. The cafe smells like fresh coffee and old books. I pick a corner seat, my fingers drumming against the table, waiting. Anna's late, but I'm not surprised. I expected this meeting to feel surreal, but it's worse than that. It feels wrong to be sitting here with someone else's wife, sharing secrets we never should have had to discover. When she walks in, I notice how small she seems. She's older than Sophie, but there's something about her posture that suggests years of carrying weight. The weight of knowing too much, of being betrayed but not yet broken. Her eyes scan the room before landing on me. I wave. She hesitates, then walks over and sits down, her face blank. I want to say something, to offer comfort or reassurance, but all I can do is push the envelope of printed messages toward her. That's all of it, I say, my voice quiet, controlled. She picks up the papers and scans them quickly, her expression unreadable. I watch her, waiting. Her fingers tremble slightly as she reads, but she doesn't say anything for a long moment. The silence stretches. She sets the papers down, still looking at them, but it's not like she's seeing them. She's seeing something else. You didn't deserve this, she says finally, and the words hit harder than I expect. Neither of us did. I nod, but I can't look at her. I'm still trying to understand how this all happened, how everything got turned upside down so quickly. My world feels unsteady, shaky, but here, with Anna, there's a strange kind of understanding. A kind of clarity. Her eyes flick up to mine, piercing through the fog of my thoughts. I'm leaving him, she says, her voice flat, determined. I can't live with this. Not anymore. I hadn't expected that. I thought there might be some negotiation, some hesitation. But her decision is final, and I can't help but feel a twisted sense of relief. At least she's not stuck like I am. At least she's taking control, making a choice for herself. I wonder if I can do the same. 2 days have passed since my meeting with Anna. Every moment since then has felt like I've been standing on a ledge, looking down at the ground below, knowing that once I step forward, there's no going back. The house is quieter than usual. Sophie still hasn't noticed anything different, still caught in the routine of her own lies. I'm living with the weight of knowing what I'm about to do. I spent yesterday preparing, moving her things into the living room, setting everything up, thinking through every detail of how this will unfold. There's no room for mistakes now. I've waited long enough. The doorbell rings, breaking the stillness. I don't jump this time. It's exactly what I've been expecting. The sound of her voice, followed by Richard's booming laugh, drifts in from the porch. They think they're walking into a normal night, a conversation that'll go just like the others. But they're wrong. I stand by the window, watching them walk up the driveway, their movements casual, unaware of the trap I've set. Richard's the first to step inside. He's too confident, too comfortable in my home. Sophie follows behind him, her posture stiff, unaware of the tension in the air. When she sees the living room, her breath catches. I hear her sharp inhale before she says anything. David? I stay still, my eyes fixed on her as she looks at me, then at the scattered pieces of her life around her. Richard's still standing by the door, not yet catching on to the weight of the moment. What is all this? Sophie's voice is low, strained, like she's already sensing something's wrong. Why is everything like this? I take a breath, stepping forward. Richard notices the tension in the room and glances around, his confidence slipping for a second. Sophie's gaze moves from the room to me, confusion spreading across her face. I don't wait for her to ask again. This is it, Sophie, I say, my voice steady. This is where it ends. Her eyes widen as the words hit her, but she doesn't say anything for a moment. She's trying to process it. Trying to find a way out of this. David, she starts, but I cut her off. You lied to me. You lied to both of us. I point to Richard, who's starting to look uncomfortable. You didn't think we'd find out. But we did. Richard's smile falters, and for the first time since he walked in, I see something close to fear in his eyes. It's not enough to make him back down, but it's there. Sophie's lips tremble, but she quickly regains her composure. David, I didn't mean for it to happen like this. I thought. No, I interrupt, cutting through her excuse. You didn't think. And now, here we are. The silence that follows is heavy. Richard shifts from one foot to the other, his discomfort growing as he looks from me to Sophie. But I'm not going to let him control this narrative anymore. I glance at the pile of Sophie's things scattered on the couch, the remnants of a life we once had. Sophie's face flushes with anger, then guilt, then disbelief. You can't do this, she says, stepping forward. You don't understand. This is supposed to make us stronger. Stronger? I echo. The word feels foreign in my mouth. This isn't strength. This is manipulation. I stand there, staring at her, and I realize something. I'm done. I've given enough of myself to this, and now it's time to take back control. Sophie's eyes narrow, a last-ditch attempt at defiance, but I'm not backing down. Richard, now more uncomfortable than ever, turns to leave. This isn't over, David. I ignore him. It is for me. And when the door closes behind them, I stand there, finally breathing a little easier, even though the storm is only just beginning. The days that follow are a blur. Sophie doesn't waste time with apologies. She tries a few weak attempts at explanations, but I've heard it all before. I'm done listening. The house feels different now, emptier somehow, even though she's still trying to come around. She knows it's over. I know it's over. The lawyers are the next step, and Sophie doesn't fight it. She doesn't want to. She knows she's lost her place here, in this house, in this life we built. She's already planning her next move. I watch her pack her things slowly, methodically, like she's preparing for a trip she doesn't want to go on. I'm not angry anymore. I'm numb. I don't know if it's the shock wearing off or just the sheer exhaustion of it all, but the weight of what she did is heavy. It's sinking in. I'm left picking up pieces of a life I thought I knew, wondering where the cracks first appeared, how I didn't see them. The legal proceedings are draining. There's a lawyer's office, papers, settlements. Sophie's trying to play the victim, trying to paint herself as the one who was wrong, but I'm not buying it. Every time we sit across from each other in that sterile, cold office, I can feel her eyes trying to figure out how she can still manipulate me, trying to make me doubt myself. But there's no room for that anymore. Richard is a ghost now. He doesn't try to explain anything, doesn't reach out. Not that I expected him to. He's hiding behind his office walls, continuing his affairs, while Sophie's left to pick up the pieces of the mess they made. It doesn't seem fair, but I'm not in the mood for fairness anymore. What's done is done. Sophie starts calling. At first, it's a few texts, but then it's phone calls. She's trying to get through to me, trying to convince me to reconcile, to let her back in. She says she's sorry, but I can hear the emptiness in her voice. There's no sincerity. I don't pick up the phone anymore. I don't reply to her messages. It's hard enough just to face the reality of it, to see the end of everything we built. I don't have the energy to listen to her lies, to let her manipulate me into thinking I can fix this. It's not just the end of my marriage, it's the end of the person I thought I knew, the person I trusted. It's the end of respect. Some days, I find myself replaying it all in my head, running through the conversations, the moments I should have caught her in. It's the kind of thing you do when you're trying to make sense of a betrayal like this. But I know there's no sense to be made. People make choices. And Sophie made hers. Anna and I have stayed in contact, of course. There's a bond between us now, born out of something no one would have wished for, but it's real. It's raw. We talk about our lives, about how everything shifted in a way we never imagined. We're two people who were blindsided by the same betrayal, but it's starting to feel less like a shared burden and more like the foundation of something that could stand. I don't know where that will lead. I don't think either of us does. But the idea of something real, something based on mutual respect rather than manipulation, feels like the first step toward healing. And Sophie, well, she's left. She's moved into an apartment across town, gone from my life completely. We'll never be the same, never go back to what we had. But the space she left behind is no longer empty. I'm filling it with something new. Not a new relationship, not a new version of Sophie, but with the possibility of rebuilding myself, of finding a way to live without the constant weight of betrayal hanging over me. I look back at the mess, at what happened, and I realize something. Maybe, just maybe, I was never meant to fix this. Maybe it wasn't mine to fix. And for the first time in a long while, I feel like I'm breathing.